Alright, so interesting times ahead for Borderlands 4. It seems that the crit knife as well as other similar unintended interactions will not be getting a nerf, at least not for the time being, because well, it seems Gearbox is actually preparing for even more buffs, at least for some of the underperforming gear and skills. So we've got a lot of information coming out from the creative director as well as some of the stuff coming out in the game in the following weeks and months. So without further ado, let's jump right in it. And we are going to start with the creative director's statement over here on Twitter, posted a few hours ago. We've seen the discourse about builds that use unintended interactions and or the knife. We are not going to act on those immediately. Instead, we are looking at our first round of buffs. Those will get addressed, but we're going to start with underperforming gear / skills first, which is actually refreshing to see from a developer not jumping in with a nerf hammer immediately and instead just waiting a little bit, see what's going to pop, and instead trying to bring those that underperform to at least a respectable level. And since we covered a lot of the gear in the past, the worst and the best in each specific weapon category, we've already seen how many useless or gimmicky legendaries there are in the game. And just to name a few, like the Hellfire, the Roach Pistol, even like Prince Harming. And let's not forget that the meta right now for some of the characters is pretty much like just focusing on one specific tree, like for example Rafa's red tree and also Vex's green tree, like seem to dominate the meta right now a little bit. So I would love to see, for example, a really strong Apophis Lance build that doesn't become too overly reliant on some of the other stuff that Rafa has currently broken. But obviously this is going to be one of the first batches of changes that Gearbox is aiming for, and I would really love to see more in terms of just weapon diversity and what's useful in taking down the highest difficulties. Also on a similar note, there's an additional confirmation that yes, FOV sliders for the consoles are actually in the works, but it's likely going to take a little bit longer to actually implement that. It is coming. I won't give a date until it's for sure, but it's the priority for us and we know it's important to our community. Just a little more patience. And the same goes for the memory leak problem. I believe right now there's a memory leak issue with the game, at least on the consoles, where the longer you play, the more unstable and performance heavy the game gets, so you're kind of forced to restart either every hour or every few hours if you don't want to completely bring it at a slog. And I've seen some of the gameplay, like especially people using Kickballer with a Jacobs attachment absolutely wrecks consoles, or at the very least that was the case previously. Also do let me know down below in the comments if some of the performance issues for you were fixed in some of the recent patches. I know some of them addressed this, but for me personally it actually got worse after launch. Literally, it was better before launch for me, so I think that something happened after that, but I would love to know your input as well. And speaking of stuff coming out for the game, before the game came out, there was this sort of post-launch roadmap that Gearbox posted with some of the details and some of the other content coming out in the first few months after release. And some of the stuff over here doesn't look quite that bad. We're gonna continue to have the weekly big encore bosses, wildcard missions, and Maurice's black market machine. That's going to pretty much refresh every single week. I'm not like the biggest fan of that, but at the very least Maurice's machine is a little bit more useful. And also in terms of the wildcard missions, I'm gonna give them probably a B, maybe a B minus, just because there are much better ways to get those specific legendaries rather than just refreshing these story missions, which take a lot longer than usual. But besides that, in terms of the free content after the launch, we should see new legendaries popping, new cosmetics, and new weather variants. This is going to be a seasonal mini event called Horrors of Kairos, which is likely going to be related to Halloween. We even have a bit of information about it here, just in time for spooky season. Horrors of Kairos is coming to Borderlands 4 this October as the first in our new slate of seasonal mini events. With each event, you can look forward to gameplay tweaks like a new type of weather, in this case along with new cosmetic items and new legendary gear added in the world boss spawn pool. The seasonal events will only be available for a limited time, so make sure you don't miss them. We'll have more details to share, of course, after launch. And it kind of reminds me a bit of how we had that Halloween event, Bloody Harvest, back in Borderlands 3. Pretty much launched back then at the end of October, lasted for a couple of weeks until the start of December. And a unique mechanic introduced by that event was the terror mechanic, so you would stack this what otherwise was a negative debuff, but the weapons dropping from the event would take advantage of the terror debuff, most of the time just providing extra projectiles, which would make some of these weapons feel very strong. Plus the weapons themselves, I believe there were two of them, a sniper and a shotgun, a shield and a grenade, took advantage of this debuff to power themselves up even more with those extra projectiles. So I do wonder if it's going to be in that theme, or is it going to be something a little bit different. Then we have the first bounty pack. This is going to be also Q4 2025, so somewhere around October all the way to the end of December is when this is going to launch, probably after that seasonal mini event. And this is going to include a lot more, including new missions, bosses, new legendary gear, and also lots of cosmetics. But more important, the vault cards are making a return from the previous Borderlands 3. We're going to explain that in just a little bit, how they used to work. But specifically in this case, this one, that's bounty pack 1, will launch in Q4 2025 and will be centered, it seems, around Rush in this case, which is the leader of the Outbounders and also the first one to actually join your cause at the start of the main story. So this is going to be some extra narrative centered around that character, and you're also going to earn some new legendaries, and there's going to be a new boss around it. But specifically, most important here are those vault cards. In this case, they seem to pretty much function exactly how they did back in Borderlands 3. So you can think of them as mini battle passes that each bounty pack will have. So each one of the bounty packs will have a specific vault card with its own progression. And in this case, back in the days, it used to involve weekly and daily challenges like taking down enemies, doing exploration stuff, and so on and so forth, which would eventually earn you XP and specific diamond keys that you could then use to earn extra cosmetics and also very strong gear. In this case, it seems that we have the same amount of possible 24 cosmetic items to choose from, as well as the 4 pieces of rerollable gear up on the separate upper section. So this is how it looked like back in Borderlands 3. I'm going to assume it's going to look somewhat similar in 4 as well. But also in regards to those vault cards, when they are active, they give you more loot and XP via daily and weekly challenges. So there you have it, which can unlock additional rewards. Each vault card is built around a distinct theme and can be leveled up at your own pace, so no time limits or expiring rewards here. I'm pretty sure that it used to expire in 3, but I'm like not 100% sure. But once activated, vault card progression works just like leveling up. It's all driven by how much XP you gain. So by exploring, taking down enemies, completing quests, you will fill up your vault card progression bar in addition to your regular XP bar. That vault card progression, in fact, will have its own separate XP bar below your actual XP bar, or somewhere in the vicinity. That's how it used to be. And there's also going to be a rotation of daily and weekly challenges from a large pool of possibilities, giving you opportunities to level up your vault card even faster. Even after you've unlocked all of the vault card's unique loot, you can keep leveling up and earn new rolls of the same gear until you get a job that perfectly suits your build. Essentially, once you would fill that up and got the cosmetics out of it or everything else you wanted, you would basically just continue, get as many keys as possible, and just farm those legendaries at the top on repeat until you get the best one possible. Anyway, 2025 is actually still filled with quite a bit of content, so we will still get another free content update after this as well, also somewhere around Q4 2025 and Q1 2026, which is Invincible Boss 1, high-level boss variant and arena, new legendary weapons, additional ultimate vault hunter mode level, which I really hope actually gets a real increase in the legendary drops, not like the ones we have right now, which basically do not affect it at all. You might as well just farm things on easy or like at least hard difficulty. But besides that, these invincible bosses, which are not actually invincible, they are just like super strong. They have new mechanics, they have massive health pools, which is nice because we're gonna have that crit dagger, I guess, extremely lethal attack damage, and other new modifiers that can make quick work of any unprepared vault hunter. So you do have to be really prepared for this and have a really strong build for it. If you have what it takes to defeat them, invincible bosses drop some of the absolute best loot in the game. And here's another confirmation that it's still planned for Q4 2025. I'm not sure if there's like any other things added over here, because chances are that some of this stuff may be delayed, so it's not like all completely set in stone. You have the disclaimer here, exact release timing to be announced at a later date and will be subject to change, so do keep this in mind, it's very important. Also for the bounty packs, they are paid DLCs, another disclaimer, so if you don't have the Super Deluxe or Deluxe Edition that includes the first 4, you do have to actually buy them separately. Obviously, a lot of this will follow into 2026 as well, with more bounty packs, which are planned for that too. So pretty much the remaining 2, 3, and 4 are still planned in 2026, plus the invincible bosses, and also at least the story pack 1, possibly even 2. And obviously story pack at least number 1, which is going to include that 5th Vault Hunter, new main story missions, maps, and of course a lot of other goodies on top. But obviously, it's anybody's guess who that Vault Hunter will be. There is some speculation going on, but to be honest, I think it's anybody's guess at this point. Overall, this is pretty much it in terms of the content and the updates we're going to be getting for Borderlands 4 in the upcoming weeks and months. Let me know down below if you're excited about this, or if you are waiting for something more substantial. This is pretty much it with the video. Thanks much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.